Let's dive into the most common questions and the detailed answers you need to succeed. Number 1. What is the difference between commissioning and qualification? Commissioning is an engineering-led process focused on the functional aspects of a system. It ensures that equipment is installed correctly and operates according to the manufacturer's design intent. Qualification, however, is a quality-led process under the umbrella of GMP. It provides the formal, documented evidence required by regulatory bodies to prove that a system consistently meets predefined quality standards and is fit for its intended use in a pharmaceutical environment. Number 2. Can you explain the V model? The V model is a graphical representation of the life cycle of a project, linking each stage of specification to a corresponding stage of testing. On the left side, we define the requirements, starting with the user requirements or URS, followed by functional and design specifications. On the right side, we perform the testing, IQ, OQ, and PQ. This model ensures that every design element is verified, providing a clear path from the initial concept to final validation. Number 3. What is a URS and why is it important? The User Requirement Specification, or URS, is a formal document that defines exactly what the end user needs the equipment or system to do. It includes requirements for capacity, speed, safety, and compliance. It is considered the most critical document in the CQV cycle because it serves as the benchmark for all future testing. If a requirement isn't in the URS, it won't be officially validated. Number 4. Define IQ, OQ, and PQ. These are the three main pillars of qualification. IQ, or installation qualification, verifies that the equipment is delivered and installed exactly as specified, checking things like part numbers, utility connections, and calibration. OQ, or operational qualification, tests the system's functionality across its entire operating range, including worst-case scenarios and alarm limits. PQ, or performance qualification, is the final step where we prove the system works consistently over time under actual production loads to produce a compliant product. Number 5. What is the difference between verification and validation? Verification is a technical, objective check to see if a system meets its specific design requirements, essentially asking, did we build the system right? Validation is a higher-level, holistic process that ensures the system consistently fulfills its intended purpose and meets the needs of the user and the patient. It asks the question, did we build the right system for the job? Number 6. What are the Alcoa Plus principles? Alcoa Plus is the global standard for data integrity. Data must be attributable to the person who recorded it, legible so it can be read, contemporaneous, meaning recorded at the time of the event, original, and accurate. The plus adds that data must also be complete, consistent, enduring, and available throughout the entire data lifecycle to prevent fraud or errors. Number 7. How do you handle a deviation during execution? When a test result does not meet the predefined acceptance criteria, you must stop the test immediately. The discrepancy is documented in a deviation report and notified to the quality department. We then conduct a root cause analysis to determine if the failure was due to the test procedure, the equipment, or a human error. A corrective action is implemented and approved by quality before the test can be re-executed or the deviation closed. Number 8. What is a validation master plan? The VMP is a high-level strategic document that serves as the umbrella for all validation activities at a site or for a specific project. It outlines the scope of work, the organizational structure, roles and responsibilities, the list of systems to be validated, and the overall schedule. It provides auditors with a clear picture of the company's validation philosophy and approach. Number 9. Explain the risk-based approach in ASTM E2500. The ASTM E2500 standard represents a shift from traditional check-the-box validation to a science-based, risk-based approach. It focuses heavily on critical aspects and critical design elements that have a direct impact on product quality and patient safety. By focusing our most rigorous testing on these high-risk areas, we can streamline the commissioning process and reduce redundant testing for non-critical systems. Number 10. What is 21 CFR Part 11? This is a specific section of the Code of Federal Regulations that sets the FDA's requirements for electronic records and electronic signatures. It ensures that digital data is just as reliable and legally binding as traditional paper records. To comply, systems must have restricted access, time-stamped audit trails, and secure signatures that cannot be easily falsified. Number 11. How do you qualify a water for injection system? Qualifying a WFI system is a long-term process usually divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 involves intensive daily sampling for 2 to 4 weeks to establish the initial operating parameters. Phase 2 continues daily sampling to demonstrate that the system consistently produces water of the required quality when following standard operating procedures. Phase 3 lasts for a full year to monitor the system for seasonal variations and long-term stability. Number 12. What are the critical parameters for an autoclave? The primary parameters are temperature, pressure, and time. During qualification, we perform heat distribution studies to ensure the temperature is uniform throughout an empty chamber. We then perform heat penetration studies using biological indicators, such as Geobacillus stereothermophilus, placed inside the most difficult to reach parts of a loaded chamber to prove that the sterilization process is effective. Number 13. What is change control? Change control is a formal quality process used to ensure that any modifications to a validated system don't unintentionally degrade its performance or compliance status. Before any change is made, an impact assessment is performed. If the change is significant, it may require a URS update and a round of re-qualification to ensure the validated state is maintained. Number 14. How do you identify a critical instrument? An instrument is deemed critical if its measurement or control has a direct impact on the quality of the final product or the safety of the patient. For example, a temperature sensor in a vaccine storage freezer is critical because a failure could ruin the product. A pressure gauge on a general cooling water line used for facility HVAC is usually non-critical because it doesn't touch the product directly. Number 15. What is a traceability matrix? A traceability matrix is a living document that maps every single requirement in the URS to its corresponding design specification and, ultimately, to the specific test case in the IQ, OQ, or PQ protocols. This ensures that every user need has been addressed and verified, leaving no gaps in the validation coverage. Number 16. How do you manage tight timelines without sacrificing quality? The key is quality at the source. I focus on getting the URS and design right the first time to prevent costly rework later. I communicate risks to stakeholders early and clearly. If timelines are squeezed, I might suggest a phased approach, qualifying the most critical equipment first, rather than cutting corners on documentation or testing, which would lead to regulatory issues later. Number 17. What are FAT and SAT? FAT, or factory acceptance testing, is performed at the vendor's facility before the equipment is shipped. This allows issues to be fixed early. SAT, or site acceptance testing, is performed at the client's site after delivery. A major trend in modern CQV is leveraging FAT data. If the testing was done correctly at the factory, we can use those results to reduce the amount of redundant testing required during the formal IQ and OQ phases. Number 18. What triggers re-qualification? Re-qualification is triggered in 3 ways. By time, such as an annual review of a critical system. By significant changes, such as a major repair or software update. Or by a trend in deviations that suggests the system is no longer performing as it should. It ensures that the system hasn't drifted from its original validated state over years of use. Number 19. What is computer system validation or CSV? CSV is the process of ensuring that automated systems, like PLCs, SCADA, or lab information systems, work consistently and securely. It involves testing the software logic, user access levels, and data management. A huge part of CSV is ensuring that the system creates a secure audit trail that records every action taken by every user. Number 20. What is a gap analysis? A gap analysis is a strategic assessment where we compare our current equipment, processes, or documentation against the latest regulatory requirements or internal standards. It identifies exactly what we are missing, the gap, and allows us to create a remediation plan to bring the facility back into full compliance. That concludes our 20 essential CQV questions. Good luck with your interview and your journey in validation engineering.